episode 244 of the Late Night Vision Show. Welcome back, y'all. We are your night hunting addiction enablers, counselors, therapists. If you are watching this show, it is not going to break you of your addiction. It's going to make it worse. Anything night hunting, hog, predator, coyote, anything you can hunt pretty much at night. Legally, we're going to talk about it, and we are starting the year 2023 probably the way we started it last year. I'm just guessing, Jason. We are going to do a scope review of a brand new optic. Mr. Jason Robertson, Outdoor Legacy Gear owner. Welcome back, Mr. Co-host. How are you doing, sir? First show of the year.
Yeah,
first show
Happy
of the
New
year,
Year.
Man.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Absolutely. I am glad to be here. This is season 6 of the Late Night Vision Show. This will
is this our 6th year?
This will be our 6th season. Yes. So we started in not at the very beginning, not in January of 2018, and so that's exactly right. 2018 is I think when we started, and we're going into the 6th year. So anyway, it is exciting. We want to thank all of y'all who have. We know not everybody's been here from the beginning. There's a lot of people who have. Talked to a guy this week who said, I've been with y'all since episode 1, and it was really cool. He said, I have stuck with y'all through it all, and my advice to him was probably to check himself into some sort of a treatment facility. I said, if you've listened to all these shows, you have got to have mental issues at this point. So, no, but we thank you for all of our longtime listeners. You may be one of somebody that's just tuned in for the very first time, and Hans and I say welcome. I want to also say this, welcome from Outdoor Legacy. As Hans said, that is the title sponsor and the only sponsor of the Late Night Vision Show. As Hans mentioned, I own Outdoor Legacy, and Hans is our number one salesman there as well. So Hans and I, this is what we do for a living. All joking aside, we test and we use in the field every single optic that we sell, night vision or thermal, period. If we sell it, we have used it. We know what it looks like in the field. And that's something that we pride ourselves on. And that knowledge is something we work hard for, but we're here not only on the Late Night Vision Show to share it with the world, everyone freely, but we want to help you when you get ready to make a purchase. And we would love to have your business at Outdoor Legacy. So a service that we offer our customers is that you get ready and you say, man, I don't know what to buy. Maybe I've got it narrowed down. Maybe I don't know where to start. You give us a call, 877-350-1818, and we will be more than happy to help you. You can go to our website, Outdoor Legacy Gear. That's GEAR, outdoorlegacygear.com. And I know a lot of guys like to go there. We've got optics sorted by price. And so you can say, okay, this is kind of my budget. And a lot of times when I'm talking to guys, they're already on the website. And so they've got that number down by price. And I say, well, there's this optic. They go, yeah, I'm looking at it right here. So that can be helpful for you as well. But again, we want to help you. You can tell us what you're doing and how you're going to use it, what you're going to mount it on, your shooting ranges, all these things. Some things you may not even know all the answers to. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but we'll help you figure out what is the right optic for you. And then we will be absolutely happy to help you with the purchase and love to have your business. And so again, that is a service that we offer. Another thing that we offer, when you purchase your scope from us, if you need help with that scope after the purchase, whether it's when you first get it, maybe you got questions about zeroing it or, how a certain function works. Maybe it's way down the road. Maybe it's 2, 3, 4 years later and you got a question, am I doing this right? Or, hey, I haven't used it in a while, or maybe I'm having a problem. That is a service that we offer the customers that purchase from Outdoor Legacy. Unfortunately, we can't offer that service to everybody because there's just too many people buying thermal scopes, and we can't be the whole tech support for the country. But if you purchase from us, that is a service that as long as you own that optic, you are absolutely free to call us, and we're glad to help. If you would like to have that service, purchase your scope from us, and you can see, experience that for yourself, as well as get to deal with the wonderful ladies in our office who handle all the ordering and the shipping with the warehouse, Angela and Michaela. They are awesome, and they are as big or bigger of a part of this team than Hans and I are. So, Hans, with the commercial break out of the way, tell them what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so we're going to be reviewing, and we're combining two optic reviews into one, and you'll find out why very soon. I'm holding up the one that I've got with me. This is the brand new Pulsar Thermion 2. Get ready for a name. Pulsar Thermion 2 XQ50. This is the LRF Pro. Jason has the just the non-LRF
I'm
model.
I'm holding it up here just a little
the
bit.
Pro model. Yep. This is the one with the laser rangefinder. Of course, we're going to be doing a walk around, so you'll get to see a little bit more of it. But this is the very popular, just the upgraded Pulsar Thermion 2 XQ50. Now it's the XQ50 LRF Pro and XQ50 Pro. We're going to be doing a full review of both of these, as always, running down the specs, showing the optics, doing a walk around, our ID ranges, what we like about it, what any cons that might be about it, and our overall thoughts, and kind of fill you in a little bit on who this thing is good for, and maybe clear up some old, Jason, we're going to clear up some old perceptions about how Pulsar performs in bad weather.
Let's do it right now.
Let's
just jump in that. I mean, I want to talk about that before I even get into the specs. One of the perceptions, well, let me back up. And again, I'm going to try not to go down a rabbit trail. This will be a topic we can do a whole show on. We've done some shows on it before, probably a couple years ago. We'll do it again sometime this year. But one of the things is, you might know, you may not know, that thermals in general often struggle in extreme high humidity or high dew point, weather conditions. So if it rains all day, or it's raining, or again, just that humidity, maybe you're down south like we are, or maybe, some people up north, Washington State, they're, some of these people that are on the coast, they deal with this. And so high humidity a lot of times is bad for thermals. And to be honest with you, Pulsar has not been known for having some of the best image quality in those extreme high humidities over the last 8-9 years, and they've been slowly improving. And there were some other companies came out with some stuff in the last 2 or 3 years that was really in those bad conditions. We're beating the Pulsar optics, and I mean that was something that was just discussed. Hey, this struggles a little bit in humidity, guys. I'm here to tell you, with these Pro units, whether it's the XQs or the XPs, which is going to be their 640 high resolution units, guys, these things are fantastic in bad weather. I mean, high humidity after rain. I have taken out both the XP50, which again is the 640 Pro, the thermal rifle scope, as well as my Helion. That's the handheld XP50 Pro. And now both the XQ35 Thermion Pro, this XQ50 Thermion Pro, I have used them right beside the optics that are most well known from these other brands of performing well in high humidity. I'm going to tell you something. The Pulsars are winning. The Pulsars, in my opinion, have moved ahead in these bad conditions. Unbelievably good image quality, better than I have ever seen out of any thermal units in bad conditions.
Absolutely true. And we were out hunting last night. A buddy of ours has the brand new Talion XQ38, and it was foggy. It had been raining. It was nasty weather. And his video on his scope, he just sent it to me not that long ago. It looks great. I mean, it didn't even look like it was bad weather, but a lot of people call and say, I'm looking for scopes, and I'm just going to tell you, it's real humid out here where we live, and I just heard Pulsar, so I'm really scared about going to Pulsar. Jason is exactly 100% right, man. These things, it's got to be the Pro sensor on it, that minus 25 millikelvin sensor.
Yep.
But it's kicking butt in bad weather right now. It really is.
It is. So I'll give you an example. So that Thermion LRF that Hans has been holding up, he's going to show you. I had that unit first. Then I sent it on to him, and we've swapped. Now I've got this regular XQ without the LRF, and on that unit, I took video in really, really good conditions of hogs, and I went out there one night in some really bad conditions. I'm talking about, raining all day, humid, nasty. I videoed some hogs, and I was telling Hans about it, and he's like, I don't know which video it is. And I was like, I should have written down the night, because really, I mean, it's legitimately that good. So anyway, we may bring this up again later in the show, but we just wanted to say it's time with these units to put that myth. I should say myth. Maybe it wasn't a myth in the past. It is now. If you believe that these Pro model XQ and XP Pulsars are not performing well in high humidity, it's because you haven't used them. And I'm telling you, we have gone directly to the brands that were known to be the best in high humidity, run these scopes right beside them, and gone, wow, what a difference. And again, that's what we're doing out here, guys. We're testing this stuff for you, so you'll know. I mean, it's that's what we're doing, is trying to figure out, how everything actually performs against each other. So without further ado, let's jump on in here to, as Hans said, the specs on the Pulsar Thermion 2 XQ50 Pro. He has the LRF, or the laser rangefinder model. I have the regular model. We're going to review both of these on this show tonight, and the reason is they are the exact same optic, short of the laser rangefinder. One has it, one doesn't. That's it. Every single thing else is the same about them. So I'm going to jump into the specs right here. Say I am. I've got this notes pulled up here on my phone. All right. So the XQ50 Pro LRF comes in at $4,299, $4,299. The XQ50 Pro without the laser rangefinder is $3,799, $3,799. They're both 384 by 288 resolution. They've got a 50 hertz refresh rate, and they're 17 microns. Another thing we don't have time to get into, but do not believe the myth that a 17 micron cannot be as good as a 12 micron. I can put these scopes up against some 12 micron 384 resolution scopes, and these will whip them. So again, that's just a discussion for later. These are 17 microns. They've got an AMOLED display. 1024 by 768 display resolution. So again, that's not the thermal sensor. They're 384s, but that's the display. It's got a very fast 50 millimeter 1.0 lens. They are a 3-power base magnification. They have digital zoom, taking them up to 12 power. Got a 42-foot horizontal field of view at 100 yards. They use a dual battery pack system. So there is an internal battery. It's actually a Pulsar APS-5 battery, if it means anything to you. So right in here, laying in this 30 millimeter tube, is a Pulsar APS-5 battery. Now, you and I can't get to that battery. It's permanently sealed in there. However, Pulsar can service that battery if need be. It is covered under the 3-year warranty, and outside of that warranty, they will, for a very reasonable fee, they will open the scope up and replace that battery for you. So if it does go bad after your warranty, you still can get it out. However, and Hans is going to show you, there is a removable rechargeable battery. The scope comes with, it's called an APS-2. It's the smaller of the batteries, and Hans will show you, you can put an APS-3, which is a little bit larger battery, in there as well. But combined with those two batteries, Pulsar is showing about a 10-hour runtime. We've done some testing, and we're showing probably closer to some of the 9 hours, maybe a little bit more. And those are perfect conditions of just setting the scope up, turning it on, letting it run down. In the field, if you're recording video, Wi-Fi, very cold conditions, that might come down. But what we're seeing is very, very, very long run times compared to, we're going to talk about that again a little more as we get into the review about these increased run times. Also, I've got a few more things I'm going to come back to. I've gotten written down over here, but I do want to mention the unit is about 16.3 inches long. The LRF version weighs about 32 ounces, and the non-LRF version weighs about 31 ounces. And let's see, what have I left off? All right. Detection range. That is detecting basically a human-sized target standing up. Pulsar says that's about 1,968 yards, so almost 2,000 yards. Everybody wants to know what's the realistic, identification range. How far can I identify a hog or a coyote, out there in the field? And Hans and I like to be conservative, but we like to be realistic. And what we would say is on this unit, with some experience in normal conditions, I'm going to be honest, 350, 400 yards is very reasonable. I know for an absolute fact, I was looking at hogs the other night, 5 of them at 400 yards, and could clearly tell they were hogs. I think there's some good conditions where the grass could be taller that, I might have to bring that in. I mean, that was a really good night. And again, there was a very short grazed pasture. So, but I could tell at 400. So I think there's going to also be some times you may go out past that, which is really, really amazing for a 384 scope. So we're going to safely say 350 to 400. This unit does have, as Hans kind of alluded to earlier, the less than the sub 25 millikelvin rating, the NETD rating. And in a nutshell, what that means is the lower that number, the more sensitive the unit is. And that is something that gives you that really, really good detail. And, I would also say that's what's also going to be helping in these poor conditions where we were talking about the unit really working well. It is completely waterproof. It's an IPS 6.7 rating. That means it's submersible to 3 foot for 30 minutes. It's fully dust proof. One nice thing about the Pulsars is they're rated for a 375 H&H, which is darn near an elephant gun, or a 12 gauge shotgun. Very few thermals are rated for shotguns because shotguns just have some nasty recoil. So if you're looking for something for a shotgun, Pulsars are going to be your way to go there. The unit has all the normal bells and whistles that you expect. It's got video recording with very, very good audio. It has picture-in-picture. It's got a smartphone app for streaming, for pulling your videos off. It has got all the color palettes. Pulsar has more reticle options and reticle colors than anybody else out there. So they've really got it all. Hans, I'm looking at my list. Did I leave anything off of that?
No, you didn't. When you said elephant gun, I pictured you out like in the Sahara Desert, or not in the desert, somewhere in the
desert?
African jungle, like one of those safari hats that they wear.
Kind
of
for sure.
Hat with an elephant gun.
I've not been to Africa,
I got
sorry to dash your dreams and hopes.
Chuckled and kind of laughed at myself there for a little bit, thinking of you wearing one of those silly hats. But anyway, let's do a quick walk around. There's a few differences in the LRF version and just the traditional version. The big thing you're probably going to notice with the laser rangefinder, obviously that lens on top of the objective lens is the laser rangefinder itself. So it sits on top of the objective lens. The focus, there's 2 knobs. There's one on each side. If you're right-handed or left-handed, this is how you focus the objective lens. That's going to be quite a bit different than the non-LRF.
Yeah, I'll show
version.
the other one when you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. But you got the power button here on the back of the laser rangefinder module, which is a little bit different. But the external removable battery that Jason was talking about is right here on top. This, what looks like a turret, just pulls off. That removable, an APS-2 or APS-3 with a taller battery cap fits in there. Internal batteries in the tube of the scope. You've got your on this side is your USB-C plug. That's where you plug the scope into a wall charger, or you can plug it into your computer to download videos off. This does have Wi-Fi. You can use the Stream Vision 2 app, which works very, very well for getting videos off, or using the viewfinder mode to watch on a tablet or an iPhone while somebody else is looking through the scope. On the opposite side, we've got your menu button with your dial that helps you go through the menu. And of course, your buttons on top of the eyepiece. You've got your laser rangefinder button that turns the laser rangefinder on. You got your record button, your magnification button. Two things, because people always ask. This laser rangefinder module, you can use the LRF in two modes. There's basically a continuous scan mode. So it's always going to be on. It's always going to be ranging whatever you point it at. And then there's basically a single point and click mode. So it's only going to range what you click the button to range. So there's two modes, continuous scan and single point and click mode. I wanted to bring that up because people always ask. You got your eyepiece diopter focus here on the back. Other than that, I mean, it's a traditional looking Thermion with a few changes to accommodate the laser rangefinder. Jason, yours is, show them what's a little bit different.
Okay, so this is the regular model. I've already held this up once, but basically what you can see is up here where Hans's unit has that laser rangefinder. This does not have it. So this has, I hope you can see this. It is a rubberized ring here for the objective lens focus. That's more traditional, what you would expect to find on a scope, but there that is. And then also on his right up here where that laser rangefinder is, you'll see that blue button, and that's your power button. On these units, you can see, again, I know this is really hard for to see here, but basically that blue button is back here. So you don't have the laser range finding button, so they're able to move the power back here or keep it. That's really where it is on all the Thermions. You've got power, record, zoom, and then everything else from there is the same. You've got this, menu button and scroll wheel. So it's otherwise it's the same. One thing I will comment real quickly. You can see my scope right here. I'm assuming Hans probably as well. They're sitting in the American Defense Manufacturing Recon mount that we sell here at Outdoor Legacy. This is our favorite mount. This is the only mount that we use for any scopes, daytime or nighttime, in 30 millimeter tubes. Absolutely any thermal optic on the market today, as of now, somebody may change something, but as of right now, January 2022, we'll use this mount. We really, really like it. Some people say, why do you choose this offset mount? Because a couple reasons. One, on an AR-15, it is very easy to move this back. You've got a rail all the way back to your charging handle. So it's nice to move this back. You can still have the scope set forward. If you want to use it on a fixed stock rifle, a bolt action rifle, or maybe you just say, man, I really need all the eye relief I can get. Maybe you got a kid or somebody who just can't quite get where they need to be. You can turn this mount around, and I can't show it, but if you pretend this is the buttstock and you turn the scope around in here, now it's pushing the scope back to give you more eye relief. So it's really a one-size-fits-all mount. We absolutely love it. American Defense is a good friend of the show. We have just sold hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of these mounts over the years. We just absolutely love them. American-made, lifetime guarantee, fantastic mounts. Very, very good. So that is it. Now, Hans, let's kind of talk about our overall thoughts. I think that one thing people want to know right off the bat is, hey, I've got an XQ50. Maybe I've got a Trail, the original Pulsar Trail XQ50, or maybe I've got the Trail 2 XQ50 laser rangefinder, or even the Pulsar Thermion, or there's so many models, even the Thermion 2. This is the Thermion 2 Pro. So this is essentially the third generation in the Thermion line. Guys say, do I need to upgrade? You never need to upgrade unless you want to upgrade. Okay, so that's my answer to that. We're not here. Yes, we sell scopes for a living, but we're not used car salesmen or mattress salesmen. No offense to you guys that sell used cars or mattresses. We're not out here just trying to sell you something. I know all those guys just clicked off. Thumbs down. Thumbs down.
A whole
that's
group
right.
of people.
That's right. I know. My father-in-law's been a used car salesman for 35 years, so it's okay. I can say it. No, but with that said, seriously, we're not here to say, oh, you got to go buy this new scope. That's up to you. Now, the real question is, and this is what people are really asking, is it different? Is it better? Is it worth it? Well, again, we go back to the is the worth it. You've kind of got to make that decision. And there's been a lot of times that Hans will and I will say, okay, between this model and the next model up, man, it would be hard for us to advise you to go sell your scope. You know, you lose some money on it, you buy the new one, and you go, that's a little better. But was it worth all that? I don't know. However, when you start putting multiple generations between it, and, you know, more than just 1 year model between, if you've got two or three, yes, I think, you know, if you're willing to spend the money, it is worth it. There is a significant image quality upgrade. And I will tell you, again, we talked about the bad weather conditions, even good weather conditions, and normal conditions. These pros are outshining a lot of 384 optics on the market that are very good and very popular. I've had some people ask me, they say, man, these Pulsars look great, but they just seem a little expensive maybe for what I'm getting. I mean, I can get this other, you know, 3-power 384 unit that you would, you know, we would say is even in the same class. And, you know, it's a few $100s less, maybe several $100s. I would say to you, from what I've seen, comparing this, I think that this is absolutely above 99% image quality wise of the other 384 units on the market. I would say that about its little brother, the Thermion 2 XQ35 Pro that we've already talked about on this show, $3,300. It's a 2.5 power unit. They're just newer. They're better. Pulsar has done their job. They didn't just you know, slap a new name on it and re-release the same thing. They're changing guts on the inside. And sometimes those changes, whether they're guts or whether it's software or firmware or things that we can't even see, they're making improvements. And I think this is a really, really good improvement. Very impressed. So I just wanted to kind of sum that up of, I got an older model, or maybe I've got another brand and I've had it 2 or 3 years. I'm thinking about upgrading. Is this worth it? If you're willing to spend the money, yes, this is a very, very legitimate image quality.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, there's many times we come on here and say, you know what, this is a great scope, but probably not worth the upgrade. And we've done that. We've probably done that more than anything. But this is. Now, also keep in mind, though, and I don't know if we mentioned this, Jason, but the XQ50 went down a little bit in magnification.
You know what?
So
totally forgot about that. You're right.
the regular Thermion 2 XQ50, the previous model was a 3.5 to 14 power, and this was a 3 to 12 power. So if you are looking to upgrade, keep that in mind. If you feel like you need all of 3.5 power, or maybe even a little bit more, maybe it's something that you keep in mind if upgrading and potentially losing a little bit of base magnification. But we're going to get in the pros and cons. But I think that I don't think that them going down in magnification is a negative at all. Actually, I'll tell you why I think it's a positive. And when we get into that, but it is worth the upgrade. It is a picture improvement difference, if anything, for using it on bad weather nights, whether it's high humidity, fog, or anything else, high dew point. I mean, that's definitely going to be a big improvement that you'll notice right away.
So, Hans, I want to talk about, before we get into the pros and the cons and kind of put a wrap on this, I want to talk about who we think this optic is good for. I want to say that, generally speaking, we're going to say that, if you're a coyote hunter, you're probably going to want a minimum of a 3 power. Now, that's a broad brush, but I'm putting all coyote hunters into one lump, and that's we shouldn't, but I will say this. 95% of them fit in that lump. Okay.
Right.
You're shooting a smaller animal, an animal that you don't have the ability to go to like we do with hogs, where we're able to spot them from very long ranges and walk to them. You're shooting an animal like that. You're shooting an animal that is on the move, that's not normally just standing around all day, grazing like a hog, waiting on you to come out there and kill them. And you're hunting an animal that you're calling to you that is very wary and that can often hang up at longer distances, and an animal that can get very wise. I mean, I have guys tell me all the time, hunting pressure is heavy on my coyotes. So in the areas we're at, they're call shy. getting them under 250 yards is a struggle for us because they're not dumb. They're coming in looking for a booger. They're like, where's that guy with the thermal scope? So I think in those conditions, definitely a scope like this that's going to be in that 3-power range is going to be good. Now, I will still say that 3-power is the number one, most common base magnification on the market. A lot of guys are hunting hogs with 3-power these days, just because they want a little more magnification. They want to make a little better shot. Maybe their eyes aren't what they used to be, or maybe they're hunting on big fields. I sold a scope to a guy the other day, and he said, I'm not going to lie to you guys. He said, I love hunting these hogs. He goes, but I have zero desire to go walk up there 20, 30, 40 yards from them. He goes, it's not my thing. He said, I don't like that. He goes, I don't like you shoot them and they're running all over. He's like, I know y'all enjoy that. He goes, I want to shoot my hogs at 75 to 100 yards. And he said, just because I don't like the idea of getting up in their space and start shooting at them. I was like, I get it. I mean, he was very honest about it, and I have no problem with that. But so he wanted a little more magnification. So again, I think hog hunters, it works for them. I think if you're the kind of hog hunter though, that you're sitting on, maybe you're sitting on corn feeders that are set up for bow hunting that are 20 or 30 or 40 yards away. Maybe you are doing spotting and stalking and getting really close, or you're in brushier country. Then I don't think this is the scope. I think I would look at its little brother, the XQ35, that's going to be a 2.5 power, little wider field of view. So that's my take on who I think it's good for.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't think I need to add anything to that part because I think you summed it up quite well. Let's get into the likes and and exactly. Let's get into the likes and dislikes, and I'll start with the likes, or maybe I should start.
I thought maybe in 2023 we would change, and you would not make me always do the dislikes. But I can see we're starting off like no, I'm just teasing. Go ahead, go with the likes. That's a long list.
I'm just throwing a couple likes that are that I kind of started earlier. First of all, we've already talked about the great picture image improvement, the picture image improvement in bad weather. The obvious thing is the mounting flexibility that you have with the tube style scope, whether it be on an AR style rifle or a bolt action rifle. The fact that it'll mount with any set of 30 millimeter rings makes it great for a lot of people out there that do like to switch back and forth. And I'm one of those people, one of those hunters that do like to hunt bolt action and AR style rifles. The laser rangefinder on the LRF model that I have works fantastic. I mean, their Pulsar with their LRF modules and, completely integrated, permanently attached, they just work so well. And the fact that you can still take a shot with the picture-in-picture display and range at the same time is very important. So kudos on that. Really, really like that. Now, what I started to talk about earlier, the drop in magnification, it went from a 3.5 to 14 power, now down to a 3 to 12 power. Really, what I think that this does is it opens this scope up for more hunters. Like you said, 3 power is the most popular for coyote and predator hunters. Once you get into the 3.5 to 4 power range, that's for a very select type of hunter. But I think at 3 power, I think people are going to be able to use this scope. That 3.5 power might have been too much for them, but 3 power is going to be, still have a wide enough field of view to scan side to side, still be able to take good running shots on a running coyote or hog, out to 100 yards, even a little bit closer. So I think that that's actually a positive coming down a little bit. Now, we love 3.5 power scopes. We love 4 power scopes, and there's definitely a place for them in the market. But for this one, it's kind of a nice little in-between magnification for people that like a little bit more magnification, or, again, predator hunters or people that are shooting regularly over 100 yards. The only other positive that I'll point out, and I'll let you add some more, and it might be one you were going to say, is the battery life. One of the negatives before on the previous Thermion models was the short battery life. It was usually around 4 or 5 hours, and that was in good, normal temperatures. In colder weather, it was going to be less than that. But they've taken away probably the biggest negative about the previous Thermion models, and that's battery life. They've basically doubled the battery life of the previous models. So I just said battery life in previous models too many times in like the span of 4 sentences. But anyway, it's definitely an improvement, and good job on that too. So they're really making it hard for us, Jason, to get these find negatives on these Thermions.
They are, and I was sitting
tough.
here. Literally, if you might have had my video cut off here while you were talking. I don't know if you didn't. People are going to see me looking down, holding this unit in my hand, spinning it around, looking over, because I was literally thinking, what can I find that's negative? I mean, because again, is it the perfect scope? No. I mean, so far nobody's ever created the perfect scope for everybody, but the negatives are getting fewer here, and I jotted down a couple things. One, it is something that people bring up, and I understand the concern, is the internal battery. I've already addressed that on the front end of, it's warranted. Mm-hmm. There's a way to get the thing fixed if you have a problem later on. Obviously, though, if we were creating the perfect thermal scope, it would not have an internal battery. Hans and I have been using the Thermions as our personal rifle scopes since they were first released in 2019. So we've been around the Thermions a very, very long time. The battery life is plenty good for us, and we've never had an issue with an internal battery personally, so it's not a big concern for us. But I mean, again, ideally, we'd love to not have it. I have a way to get that battery out. I would say that second thing, if we just keep talking about the batteries, and I'm going to say this, I mean, listen, we give criticism where we see that it's deserved, and we give praise where it's deserved. We have been on a lot of these other scopes during our best of series. We have been praising non-proprietary batteries like 18650s or some of the other weird batteries, 16650s or whatever, but generic batteries. Again, I think Pulsar is pricing their batteries very fairly, between $80 and $100 a piece. I think that is, for a proprietary battery for a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 scope, I think that's very reasonable. But in a perfect world, I would like to see that battery be something generic that I can go to a battery store online and purchase 10 of for whatever, $20, $25 a piece. I would prefer that. Again, I'm trying to be nitpicky, but I'm trying to be honest. This is a little bitty nitpicky thing. It's funny. Nobody who ever owns a Pulsar laser rangefinder model complains about this, but I hear it from guys who don't own them. But one of the complaints is, hey, when I turn on the laser rangefinder, you're telling me that my main crosshairs are going to go away and my picture-in-picture crosshairs are going to come up. That is true. So you do lose your main big picture crosshairs when the laser rangefinder is enabled. Again, as Hans mentioned, you can, as soon as you enable that, automatically, out of your control, the picture-in-picture box pops up with crosshairs. So yes, you can still shoot. I do think in a perfect world, you wouldn't lose those crosshairs. But again, I'll just be honest with you, most guys are not shooting and ranging at the exact same moment. It's how far is that coyote? Oh, he's 256 yards. I know where I need to aim. I put the crosshairs on him and aim. I'm not using the laser rangefinder at the moment of pulling the trigger, so they use their main crosshairs. So again, I don't think it's a big deal, but hey, I'm going to point out the little bitty nitpicking things that I guess we could complain about. But overall, guys, I mean, I just kind of go back to the specs, and I just think about all that these Pulsar scopes offer. And this is not just the XQ50 and the XQ50 LRF, but we're talking about good battery life, very, very, very nice, well-built attention to detail optics. Which is one thing we say about Pulsar, and I'm willing to stand by this, and I hope other manufacturers will prove me wrong in the future. But that is, these Pulsars, when you touch them and you feel them, they feel like $1,000,000. They, in my opinion, the fit and the finish feels nicer than any other optics on the market in any price range. Now, that's not a slam against these other scopes. They feel really good. They're nice scopes. I just think if you're looking for fit, finish, attention to detail, the little bitty small things in the buttons and the scroll wheels, I just think Pulsar is just going to win that little bit of attention to detail. Again, all the things, the features with all the reticles, the reticle colors. If you're into the color palettes, if that matters to you, that there's a lot of control over the image from what they have now is the normal, high, and ultra modes that allow you to change those modes for the different weather conditions, whatever you think looks best to your eye. The brightness and the contrast controls are there with 20 degrees, or I said degrees, maybe the right word, but I mean, I can change from 0 to 20 on that scale. So there's a lot of variation with the image. You're not just stuck with 2 or 3 presets that don't change a lot. So anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I tell you, there's a lot going on here. I know it's a lot of money, but you're getting a lot of value for your dollar with all this Pulsar offering. Go ahead.
Speaking of money, did we say the price?
I did. I did before
Okay.
I got into the specs. I said the price of them.
Good.
Just
Good.
in case somebody wasn't watching then, it is $42.99 for the LRF, and it's $37.99 for the non-LRF version. Hans,
good job.
did we leave anything out on this review? I think
Gosh, I cannot believe so. We've covered a lot. If you are looking to purchase an optic, I'm gonna switch up our little show notes here. I'm gonna do the pre-close.
Great.
Because we made a commitment to come up with a different sign-off tagline. I'm gonna see what you come up with on the fly.
I didn't come up with anything.
Well, so if you're looking to purchase an optic, any night vision, thermal, scope, monocular, give us a call. If you are wanting to purchase and you are ready to purchase, you just need that little push, little extra advice, and you want to buy from Outdoor Legacy, give us a call, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. Find all the optics there. You can order over the phone. You can order with one of our office managers if you prefer to do it over the phone. If you need some more assistance with that as far as payment options, give us a call or visit the website. If you're looking for all of our previous podcast episodes, thelatenightvision.show.com. You can also find Outdoor Legacy on Facebook, Instagram, and also some of the forums, Outdoor Legacy Gear, also on YouTube, Outdoor Legacy Gear. You can find me on YouTube at Hans ETX, Hans ETX, and you can find me on Instagram at Hans ETX.
All right, guys. So for a very, very long time, we've had the same sign off here, and Hans vowed that we were going to change it for 2023, and I don't have anything new to say. And I actually had a comment from Rich, one of our longtime listeners. He's been a customer of Outdoor Legacy, good guy. And he said, "Don't change a thing." So for this week, I'm not changing a thing. If Hans wants something new, he's going to have to come up with it.
Next week, I'm coming up with a new one.
He's coming up. He wanted me to say like over and out, Big 10-4, good buddy, or something. I don't know, but. No, seriously, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of rambling, a lot of rabbit trails in these shows, but here's what we believe. We believe that even those rabbit trails are very good information that can help you when you're getting ready to purchase a scope, something that costs $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's a lot of money. And we say a lot of things. Again, we know we get off track sometimes with the things that comes to our head, because we've had so many conversations with customers, and we're just trying to think of those things that might help you when you get ready to purchase something, that little bitty thing that we might say, you go, whoa, I didn't think about that, or, oh, that's a good point. That's really going to help me. So sometimes I know we get a little long-winded, but we're trying to cram a lot of information that, again, in a short time, that will hopefully help you make a well-informed decision.
And I promise you that it's not going to change. We're not going to get less long-winded.
We're not going to get less long-winded. We're getting older. It's getting worse. It's getting to be old men.
Exactly.
So, all right, guys. Seriously, hope to see you all back here next week. Hey, I'm just going to tell you, if you're still here, if you're still watching this, get ready for SHOT Show Overload. SHOT Show is the one time of the year where we all go out to Las Vegas with the manufacturers, the distributors, the dealers like ourselves. We get to see tons of the new optics that are going to be coming out for 2023. Hans and I'll be there in 2 weeks, but next week we're going to do our annual pre-SHOT Show episode where we talk about, discuss it, get ready for it. And again, for about the next 3 or 4 weeks, that's all it's going to be. So if you're interested just to see where the market and the industry is going and what's happening with the night hunting world, stick to the Late Night Vision Show. So between now and then, you guys stay safe in the field and keep making those bacon pancakes.